Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jerry Olenin.
And I'm Kelly Som. NBC 24 Action News at 5 starts now.
Action News at 5 on NBC 24. Live, local, late-breaking.
Child Welfare Services took an $80 million cut last year, and Governor Schwarzenegger's new spending plan will not restore that funding. Combined with the loss of matching grants, the loss totals $133 million for programs that help California's foster children. Hundreds of these kids stormed the state capitol last month to rally for funding to be restored. And both Senate and Assembly committees voted for that to happen.
Well, tell me what you guys do anyway. Foster Meeting Connections. What is that?
The idea is to leverage the media to drive home a very kind of simple message, that is that foster care is fixable and that we are on the way to doing it. So we want to change the entire narrative of the system to one that's more accurate and more deep, and one that kind of accounts for the kind of amazing success that's been going on throughout foster care, not only in California, but in other states.
Hey, TJ. This is TJ Cormier.
Hi, how's it going?
Yeah, I think the education of foster kids has slowly been on the forefront of people's mind, and that movement has really been growing among child welfare. And in Washington State, you know, we have, I think, become one of those states that is really at the forefront of educational progress for kids in foster care.
Because we are just on the steady diet of headlines where kids get abused in foster care, they die in foster care, there's no money left for these kids, and apparently there's a whole nother situation that's going on that we're not hearing about.
Well, in California, the narrative used to be one of children, babies, entering the system and staying in care for a long period of time. And I was with my colleague Eitan Elterman recently at UC Berkeley talking to a professor there, and she was talking about a dissertation and this new student of hers that was about to get his PhD, and he had to come in and sign for his PhD.
And congratulations.
Thank you. There's basically a flip between children staying in care and children adopted.
In the old days, the story of foster care was you get caught in this system, the system has you in its grasp, you can't get home, you can't get adopted, you stay in foster care, you got placement instability all over the place. Now, the story is, if you're a baby, and we don't know about older kids, but if you're a baby and you go into foster care, you're getting permanency. You're going to go home, and if you don't go home, you're going to get adopted. And that's the story. Even
what
if
used to be the truth, that kids stay in care, they're stuck languishing in a system that breaks them, is just completely not the truth. And that's because of plenty of amazing reforms and money spent in the right places that now we're in peril of losing, of course, with this $80 million cut.
Okay, so money spent in the right places, and what are we talking about there specifically?
Well, there's been a big push towards kinship support services, so making sure that family members who, you know, the grandmothers out there who are taking in their grandchildren get supportive services, and those kind of things have been crucial in moving kids out of kind of conventional foster care placements into family placements, which has relieved social workers of a lot of the stresses that they used to have, so they can do better work in other portions of the system.
I think everyone involved in child welfare recognizes that it's not about a system intervention, it's about a community support network. And that's what we have in Family Ties.
Our records show that there have only been between 4 and 6 kids who've gone into the foster care system since the families have been within Family Ties program.
When I went to Family Ties, I didn't realize how many people were raising their grandkids, and nobody knew. You know, it was like all of a sudden all these people start coming out. And now that I go to support groups, that helps me vent a lot still to this day. And the girls too, when they need help, Family Ties is always there to help us out.
But if you would just go by all the reports, it would just seem like the whole system is a disaster. And obviously that's not the case.
The story is not the story that it used to be. So really the media is 10 years behind the times on what's really going on. The system is peopled by humans who are really trying to make the lives of kids better, and that's still the thing. And with all the technology and all the information we have, it's getting better.
CYC! Who are we? CYC! Who are we? CYC! What we do? Advocate for you!
budget issue, that's where I guess the challenge is for you at this point, right?
Well, it's a challenge, but it's become clearly in the eyes of the foster youth who are organizing through the California Youth Connection and the Child Welfare Director Association, and all these different organizations have turned this obstacle into the rallying point for some incredible momentum building into Friday's budget revise, in which the governor will likely announced that $80 million that were taken from child welfare services, which really cost an additional $53 million in matching federal funds, will be maintained in the budget. But what that's done is brought together groups from all over the state, and they've been coming to the Capitol.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Lazara Martinez. I'm 17 years old, and I'm a senior in high school. I'm from Fresno. Basically, I stand before you guys today not only representing myself, but representing the tens of thousands of foster youth throughout California. Oh, this makes me so emotional. And I understand that the governor was limited on what he was going to cut. But when it comes to our lives, it shouldn't be where you guys are cutting money from our college. But I'm going to go home to my foster parents and still tomorrow go to school and work hard to go to college, and to find out that I'm not going to have enough money to go to college. So you guys think about the lives you're going to affect, because it's real. I'm a real person and I have real feelings. This is real. Thank you.
We definitely hear what you're saying and take it to heart. The recommendation is to do a restoration of the $80 million general fund that was vetoed by the governor for child welfare services in 2010-2011.
Well, I'm certainly hoping that all of this and everything that we're doing today adds to the momentum to make sure that we can get AB 12 passed and signed, because what AB 12 is going to do is it's going to extend services to children who are in the system until they're 21. And
And if that were to happen, then California, with 1/8 of the nation's foster care population, would send a message that would speed implementation of this federal law across the country. So really this adversity, if pulled together, could turn into a real turning point for child welfare in the country.
Your perspective for the future is somewhat bright. Do you think maybe the budget's going to work in your favor a little bit?
Well, I mean, I'm hoping that the governor and the powers that be will wake up and see that this is the clearly most fiscally responsible course to take, and that it's the only morally responsible course to take. And with only 500,000 kids in care nationwide, this is a completely fixable problem.
That is Daniel Heimpel, again, Project Director of Fostering Media Connections. We're getting a whole new message here. We got more to come. It's 3:45 at KFBK. I like that.